this video, we will explore an object that is important not only in a Hungarian context, but also in a wider European one. This limestone sculpture offers a window into the world of Iron Age communities in the Carpathian Basin, the symbolic language of Latin art, and the methodological challenges archaeologists face when interpreting finds with uncertain contexts. Hungary is especially important for understanding Celtic development in Central Europe, because the territory of the Carpathian Basin was shaped by both the Hallstatt horizon, often regarded as part of the Proto-Celtic background, and the later Latin culture more directly associated with Celtic communities. Before we turn to the object itself, however, let us briefly ask a larger question. Who were the Celts and where did they come from? The peoples we call Celts did not emerge suddenly as a single unified group. The archaeological background of the communities later associated with Celtic culture is often linked to the Hallstatt world of the early Iron Age, centered in parts of present-day Austria and extending across much of Central Europe, including areas of southern Germany, Czechia, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Hungary. Out of this broader Central European Iron Age background emerged the Latin culture from the 5th century BC onward, spreading widely across Europe and becoming the archaeological horizon most closely associated with Celtic communities. But before we continue with the limestone head itself, let us take a brief look at the place where it was found. This archaeological site has a much longer and richer history than the Celtic period alone. It first became important in the Bronze Age, when it developed into one of the major tell settlements of Hungary, with generations rebuilding their houses on the same spot and gradually creating a deep settlement mound. In the early Iron Age, the area grew into a major center of power and burial, marked by large barrows, elite graves, weapons, horse gear, and wide cultural connections across the region. During the Late Iron Age, Celtic communities reused the fortified site, leaving behind settlement traces, pottery, and the limestone head in question. Later, in the Roman period, a fort was established here as part of the Danube frontier, showing that this location remained strategically important for centuries. So, let us now return to our main artifact, the Celtic head in question. As we saw at the beginning of the video, this object is important not only within the Hungarian archaeological record, but also in a wider European context, and it is methodologically significant as well. That methodological importance lies in a basic archaeological principle. Meaning depends not only on an object's form or on comparison with similar finds, but also on its context. In this case, the context is uncertain, because the head was not recovered from a securely documented find spot. Its chronology is less precise, and its interpretation remains open. The two main competing accounts of its discovery are that it was found within an enclosed well, which could suggest a meaningful depositional context, or that it was simply a stray find from the wider site area. This uncertainty has direct consequences for how confidently we can interpret the object. With that in mind, let us consider how the head fits into the wider European picture by first asking what it looks like and what it may have meant. In public-facing museum interpretation, the object is described as a mask-like male head with heavy lips and possibly closed eyes. In other words, it does not simply resemble a naturalistic portrait. Instead, it has a more compressed, emblematic, and perhaps symbolic visual logic. Museum interpretation has proposed two main readings. The first is apotropaic, meaning protective or intended to ward off danger or evil. The second is mortuary or severed head symbolism, relating to death, the dead, or the symbolic importance of the human head in Iron Age belief. Yet these interpretations must remain hypotheses rather than conclusions. A carved head of this kind could have been votive, commemorative, protective, cultic, architectural, funerary, or even displaced from an entirely different original setting. And as already noted, without a secure archaeological context, these remain competing possibilities rather than settled explanations. Finally, let us place the head into its wider European context. Anthropomorphic heads in Latin Europe appear in at least four main forms: small carved heads, funerary or monumental sculpture, trophy head programs, and portable face motifs on metalwork. What this immediately shows is that head imagery was widespread across Iron Age Europe, but it was by no means uniform. Alongside the Hungarian example, there are important parallels from Czechia, including another carved stone head. From Germany, both a sculptural fragment and a life-size funerary-associated figure. From France, larger sculptural programs. From Transylvania, another carved head. From Scotland, a similar carved head. And from Slovakia, portable mask motifs on metalwork. Taken together, these examples show that the image of the head formed part of a broad European visual language, even if its forms and meanings varied from region to region. At the same time, comparison also reveals an important contrast. In some of these cases, the technical details of manufacture are much better understood than in the Hungarian example. That brings us back to the same methodological point emphasized throughout this video. Better technical study allows us to reconstruct how an object was made, compare it more precisely with other finds, and interpret it more securely in historical terms. The object also has what we might call a split modern biography. The original is kept today in the Hungarian National Museum, while the local museum at the place of discovery displays a replica. There, the head is presented within an oak hollow installation, an interpretive display that evokes ideas of ancient Celtic sacred woodland symbolism. And finally, on a more personal note, I am also glad to share a small section of my family's modern Hungarian DNA test, in which various analyses repeatedly identify Celtic-related ancestry components as among the most prominent. Of course, ancient identities and modern genetic profiles are not the same thing, and DNA cannot simply confirm cultural belonging in a straightforward way. But it still serves as an interesting reminder that the long history of the Carpathian Basin, including its Celtic past, can still appear in unexpected ways in the present. So, the Celtic head matters not only because it is rare, but because it connects local Hungarian archaeology with a much wider European world of art, ritual, memory, and interpretation.